Someone is paying $2,000 a month for software right now, and a 23-year-old freelancer in Manila is doing the same work for 50. Not because they are smarter. Not because they found some secret hack. Because the entire economics of professional software collapsed in the last 12 months and most people still have not noticed. Welcome back to Zero Index. Here is what I mean by collapsed. Take the standard AI power user stack that most professionals assembled over the last 2 years. ChatGPT Plus at $20 a month. Midjourney at $30. Claude Pro at $20. Runway for video at $15. Notion AI at $10. Grammarly Premium at $12. GitHub Copilot at $10. That is $117 every single month, $1,404 a year, for tools that overlap in function by roughly 60 to 70%. And that is just AI subscriptions. Add in the traditional software stack, Adobe Creative Cloud, project management tools, design platforms, communication software, and you are looking at bills that routinely hit $500 to $2,000 a month for small businesses and serious freelancers. I tracked down one documented case where someone replaced an entire 2,000 monthly software stack with a complete solution costing under $40. And when I dug into the data from July 2025, I found this was not an anomaly. 66% of small businesses using AI strategically are saving between $500 and $2,000 every single month. This is not a hack. This is a systemic transformation. But here is what took me weeks to understand, and I will come back to this because it changes everything else I am about to tell you. The real problem is not that any of these tools are expensive. The real problem is how we ended up subscribing to all of them in the first place. Think about how most people built their AI toolkit. ChatGPT came out, it was impressive, you subscribed. Then Midjourney started generating images that looked like concept art, so you added that. Claude launched and people said it was better for long-form writing, so you grabbed that too. GitHub Copilot made coding faster, so obviously you needed that. Each decision made sense in isolation. Each tool genuinely delivered value. But nobody, and I mean almost nobody, ever sat down and stress-tested whether the combination made sense for their actual workflow. I talked to a content creator in Austin who was paying for ChatGPT Plus, Claude Pro, and Jasper simultaneously. 3 different large language models. When I asked him to track which one he actually used for each task over 2 weeks, he discovered he was doing 90% of his work in Claude and had opened ChatGPT exactly twice, both times by accident because he clicked the wrong bookmark. That is $40 a month in pure redundancy. And his case is mild. The pattern is everywhere once you start looking. Designers paying for both Midjourney and DALL when they only need one. Writers with Grammarly Premium, Notion AI, and Claude Pro when any one of those handles their editing needs. Developers with multiple coding assistants running simultaneously, each one slowing down the IDE while the others sit idle. But here is where it gets strange. The market should have corrected this by now. Competition should have forced consolidation. Instead, the opposite happened, until very recently. I need to be precise about this because most people miss it completely. 12 months ago, there was a reliable rule of thumb in software. Free tools were about 30% as good as paid ones. Good enough to try, not good enough to rely on. That gap justified premium subscriptions across the board. That gap has collapsed. Free-tier Claude handles tasks that required a paid subscription 18 months ago. Gemini's free version outperforms paid tools from 2023 on most benchmarks. GitHub Copilot now has a free tier that covers the needs of most developers who are not working on enterprise codebases. Grammarly Free catches errors that Grammarly Premium was selling as a premium feature 2 years ago. Ideogram generates images for free that compete with paid Midjourney outputs. And here is the uncomfortable part for the subscription economy, these free tools keep improving while the paid tools raise prices. This is not sustainable. But I will come back to why in a moment. What matters right now is what this means for anyone still running the old playbook. The 117 standard AI stack I mentioned earlier, you can replicate roughly 90% of its functionality using only free tiers. At 17% of the cost. Which means you are paying an 83% premium for the last 10% of capability. For some professionals, that 10% is worth every penny. For most people, it is pure waste. So I spent 3 weeks testing different combinations. Cutting subscriptions, measuring what I actually lost, tracking where the friction appeared. Here is what I found. The ideal middle ground stack for most knowledge workers is brutally simple. ChatGPT Plus at 20 for general reasoning and the best overall model. GitHub Copilot at 10 if you write any code. And then one specialist tool based on your actual work, Claude Pro at 20 if you do heavy writing and analysis, or Midjourney Basic at 10 if you need visual content. That is $50 a month maximum. It covers essential AI capabilities plus workflow differentiation. Everything else, the $67 in monthly savings from the standard stack, was either redundancy or edge cases that free tiers handle just fine. But actually, I need to stop here because most people get this completely wrong. The point is not to minimize spending. The point is to maximize return on spending. According to analysis from 2026, professionals who save just 2 to 3 billable hours per month break even on a 40 monthly AI toolkit. If you are a freelancer billing $50 an hour, you recoup your costs with 48 minutes of saved time per week. 48 minutes. That is nothing. That is one task that would have taken you 2 hours now taking 1 hour and 12 minutes. The question is not whether AI tools are worth money. They obviously are. The question is whether your specific stack is optimized for your specific workflow, or whether you are paying for overlap, redundancy, and features you open twice a month by accident. Here is what finally made this click for me. Publicis Sapient is a consulting firm with 20,000 employees. Not a startup. Not a lean operation. A massive enterprise with serious software needs. They cut their SaaS licenses by roughly 50%. Including Adobe subscriptions. By deliberately switching to generative AI tools. A 20,000 person firm looked at their software stack, identified what AI could replace, and slashed their budget in half. If enterprises are doing this, if companies with legal teams and procurement departments and compliance requirements are consolidating this aggressively, what does that tell you about the average individual's software stack? It tells you that most people are dramatically overpaying. Not because they are stupid, but because the landscape changed faster than their habits did. And this brings me back to the thing I said I would explain. The reason we ended up subscribing to everything in the first place. Here is the uncomfortable truth that most AI coverage ignores. These subscription prices are not real. They are subsidized. ChatGPT Plus at $20 a month does not reflect the actual cost of running GPT-4 class models at scale. Claude Pro at $20 does not cover Anthropic's compute bills. These prices exist because venture capital money is flooding the AI industry, and companies are buying market share by pricing below cost. This is the playbook every major tech company has run for the last decade. Uber subsidized rides to kill taxis. DoorDash subsidized deliveries to dominate food logistics. Netflix priced below profitability to capture streaming. Then prices rise. The signals are already appearing. IPOs are coming. Usage-based pricing is being tested. Enterprise customers are reporting unexpected cost overruns. The most likely near-term scenario is flagship consumer plans moving to $30 to $50 a month. That is still affordable for most professionals. But it changes the math significantly. If ChatGPT Plus goes to $30 and Claude Pro goes to $30 and every specialist tool bumps by 50%, suddenly that 50 stack becomes a 75 stack. The 117 standard stack becomes 180. The difference between strategic selection and subscripto everything becomes 100 a month instead of 67. This is why the consolidation happening right now matters so much. Not because 67 in monthly savings changes anyone's life. But because the people who build optimized stacks today will be positioned to absorb price increases that the subscribe-to-everything crowd will not see coming. There is one more development I did not expect when I started researching this. AI aggregators are now bundling multiple models under single subscriptions. Tools like Admix start at $8 a month and provide access to GPT-5, Claude, Gemini, and over 15 other models. The math is straightforward. 8 versus 65 if you subscribe to each individually. Now, there are trade-offs. You do not always get the latest features. The interfaces are not as polished. Power users who need cutting-edge capabilities will still want direct subscriptions. But for the 80% of users who need good enough access to multiple models, this is a category that did not exist 18 months ago and now threatens the entire subscription model that AI companies have built their revenue projections around. I am watching this space closely because it represents a fundamental challenge to how AI software gets monetized. If aggregators can offer 90% of the value at 15% of the price, what happens to the companies burning billions on model training who plan to recoup costs through consumer subscriptions? That is a question without a clean answer yet. But it is the question that will define the next phase of this industry. Here is what all of this comes down to. You are almost certainly paying for AI capabilities you do not use. Not because you made bad decisions, but because the landscape shifted underneath you while your subscription stayed the same. The action is simple. This week, track which AI tools you actually open. Not which ones you think you use. Which ones you actually use for real work. After 7 days, look at the list and ask yourself a single question. If you were starting from zero today, knowing what you know now, would you subscribe to all of these? For most people, the answer is going to be uncomfortable. The 66% of small businesses saving $500 to $2,000 monthly are not using magic tools. They are using fewer tools, more strategically. They are asking what they actually need instead of what they might need. They are treating AI subscriptions like investments with expected returns instead of insurance policies against missing out. The gap between $50 and $200 a month might not feel significant in isolation. But compounded over years. Factor in the price increases that are coming. Consider what else that money could do. The software subscription model trained us to pay for potential. The AI consolidation happening right now is training a new generation to pay only for results. Which side of that shift you end up on is still your choice. But the window to make it consciously is closing faster than most people realize. If you want to stay ahead of shifts like this one, subscribe. I will see you in the next one.